Whether you're a practicing educator, an aspiring educator, or currently a student, you're a member of the greater academic community and encouraged to use the most rigorous resources you can find to support your position as you add your own thoughts and ideas to the academic communities in which you belong. This short presentation is designed to give you some hints about where to find the most credible research resources and how to incorporate them into your work. In educational technologies, only the discussion activities require outside sources. At least one outside source should be cited in each week's discussion posting. 2 sources are preferred. All cited materials should clearly relate to the topic of the discussion and should not be included simply to meet the requirement of having a citation. Focus on the main topic of the activity and find resources that match that topic. So, for example, if the topic is using technology ethically and safely, find resources about ethical and safe use, not just some general statement about technology. Product descriptions are usually irrelevant and do not count as outside source materials. Outside resources are not required for your responses to others, but if you do have a relevant resource you'd like to include, please do. Sharing helpful resources with others is a great way to use the discussion area. The complete activities also do not require outside resources, except where otherwise noted. Sometimes you might want to pull in an outside resource like a lesson plan, especially if you're not currently a practicing teacher. That's fine, just be sure to give credit where credit is due. So what should you cite? As a general rule, you should cite all thoughts, ideas, and information created by others. These thoughts and ideas can be presented in text, audio, video, or many other different formats. They might simply be spoken by someone you know or you've gone to hear. Sometimes you can copy and paste information that must be cited, and sometimes you can't. You can't usually copy an idea or a philosophy, but you should still cite it if you mention it or refer to it, or if it's generally recognized as somebody else's idea. For example, the concept of using technology to support teaching and learning is a general one that does not require citation. But the philosophies of using technology in a specific way, such as following the WebQuest format developed by Bernie Dodge and his colleagues at San Diego State University, may need to be cited. The examples given are from the textbook. For this class, a good rule of thumb is if you copy 2 or more words directly from any source, cite it, just to be safe. And since most of the activities require you to draw from your experiences and insights, it's unlikely that you'll need to copy much material directly from outside sources. I'm interested in what you think, but the outside resources show me that you've considered the perspectives of others and you're basing your response on the greater body of knowledge. You are participating in the greater academic community. Another piece of advice is if you find yourself copying 2 or more sentences from a single source, stop. At that point, you're likely not making your own point, but someone else's. At 500 words, discussion postings are really not very long by academic standards, and you need to use most of that space with your own thoughts. Remember, using the work of other people without giving them credit can be considered plagiarism, which is a serious academic offense. Even on the first offense, evidence of plagiarism will be reported to the university administration. If you have any questions about whether the material you're including should be cited or not, ask. When in doubt, a good rule is to go ahead and cite it, even if it's just a courtesy. That way, you've got your bases covered. What does a citation look like? What should it include? Bethel University encourages you to use APA format 5th edition for all citations. There is a newer edition of APA, and there are other style guides like Chicago or MLA. Regardless of the format you use, all outside sources should be clearly and thoroughly cited so that the author and date are easily determined and that you provided enough information in case I want to go find the original material, which I often do. I've had to use all these styles, and as long as you include enough information, I can work it out. I'm comfortable with whatever style guide you prefer. At the least, your citations should include the following. All direct quotes must be in quotation marks, even if it's just 2 words. The quotation marks simply indicate that you're using material from someone else. It's okay to do it, just give them credit. Using information without quotation marks can be considered plagiarism. In the body of your text, include the author's name or the author's names, the year of publication, and the page number for direct quotes. Some material doesn't have page numbers, so use the abbreviation N.P. for direct quotes from sources like a video or a website that may not have page numbers. If you are quoting an idea, a summary, or a generalization, that information is usually not a direct quote and only needs the author's name and year of publication, no quotation marks. Include a reference list at the end of your posting, even if you only have 1 reference. In your reference list, include the author's name or the author's names, all of them. You need at least the full last name and the first initial, but some styles include full first names or middle initials. Include at least the last name and the first initial of every author in your reference list. If you're using an edited volume, you should include the abbreviation ED period in parentheses after the name of the editor, or if there's more than one, EDS. Add the year of publication, often in parentheses. If you absolutely can't find a year of publication, which does occur on some websites, use the abbreviation N period D period in parentheses. Include the full title of the work you are citing. This may be an article or a specific page within a larger website. The title of the journal, edited volume, or larger website is the source. If you're using a journal article, it will include a volume and an issue. Finally, if you found your resource online, include the web address or URL. The easiest way is to copy it directly from your web browser and paste it in your reference list to avoid spelling mistakes. URLs can often be complex. Many books, white papers, policy briefs, and other publications contain a suggested format for citation. They print it right on the document. It's usually found in the copyright information near the beginning of the publication. If you have more than one reference, list them in alphabetical order. There's more you can find out about formatting, like when to use italics, other abbreviations, and more, but that's more than enough information for this class. The idea is to provide enough information to enable me or your classmates to find the resources you've listed. This is an example of a citation of a direct quote from a book. Note the page number is listed at the end of the citation. In the reference list, if this was a journal article, the title of the article would come after the year, followed by the name of the journal. Then the volume and issue numbers. Journal citations do not include the location of the publisher. There's a lot of valuable information that you can download from the web, and chances are you're going to turn to it once or twice in the class. This example is for a research brief used in the textbook. When entering the URL, it's best to copy and paste it from your browser window to avoid making mistakes. Many students end up quoting the book every now and then, and so this is the correct citation of the textbook used in this class. A unique feature of Bethel University is access to the Smart Thinking service. These are real people who not only review your work for issues like style and grammar, but they can also give you pointers on citations and references as well. They ask for a couple of days leeway, but most students who have used them report they reply much quicker than that. If you haven't used Smart Thinking before, check it out. Several former students have told me it's very helpful. You can find a link to Smart Thinking on the homepage of Bethel University Online. This presentation was intended to help you document the many different kinds of resources you might use while a student in this class. If you'd like suggestions for where to find high-quality resources, please review the presentation, Where to Find Resources.